Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel once again. My name is Joshua Benjamin Ali, CEO of JBA Consults, and in today's video, we are going to be looking at leveraging Apollo for lead generation, basically the pros and the cons of that. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so what is Apollo? Apollo basically is a powerful platform which is designed to basically revolutionize the lead generation and sales prospecting. So it gives you the opportunity to basically be able to search for leads and then be able to connect with those leads. Um, we will look into other features that it has in the subsequent slides. So today we're just going to be talking mainly about the advantages and disadvantages of utilizing Apollo for your lead generation efforts. So we want to understand how it's going to empower and our sales, how it's going to empower sales and marketing teams to find, engage, and convert leads effectively. So the advantages. So it has a comprehensive database. So it gives you access to vast repository of contacts and companies. So me personally using Apollo for lead generation, I have seen how effective it can be firsthand. So going into the website, logging into your account, going into the leads section where you're able to create personas, you're able to create leads based on specifics, for example, the size of the company, how much revenue the company is generating, depending on your company size. So if you're someone who is starting off looking to do lead generation, or you are also in charge of handling the lead generation for your own company, it does have a very vast uh, database when it comes to contacts and companies, because it's one of the industry standards when it comes to lead generation, aside LinkedIn, for example. So next one, advanced search filters. So this is what I was referring to. So you are able to refine specific uh, searches to criteria based on the industry, the company size, job title. So if you want to look for a CEO, you want to look for marketing directors, if you're looking for COOs, you're able to actually pinpoint exactly the kind of position the person has in the company that you want to reach out to. And by so doing, making it very specific for you, specific to your niche, basically based on your company and what kind of service that you offer in your company. So here we have, for example, you're able to create lists. So you can name those lists to whatever it is that you want to do. So for example, if you're looking for marketing directors, you can create a list for marketing directors and then choose a location. So if you want to look for companies that are around you, maybe in the US, specifically in a particular city or something like that, gives you the opportunity to do that. You're able to filter how many employees do they have. Do they have 100 to 50, 100 to 200, 50 to 1 to 50? Basically, you're able to pinpoint exactly that. You're able to use industry keywords, the buying intent of the company. So that gives you the opportunity to be able to actually pinpoint if maybe they have some positions that are open, if you're doing something like outsourcing. So that helps because then you're able to see, okay, so these kind of positions have been posted by the company and they're looking for such and such people, giving you the opportunity to be able to reach out to them to offer your services to assist when it comes to their hiring process. So this is an advantage to using Apollo. Integration capability. So aside that, you're able to find leads and you're able to integrate with popular CRM platforms, that is email tools and sales automation softwares that would enable or help in your sales journey. That is basically connecting with those leads that you have. So you can actually connect to platforms such as CRM platforms like Salesforce. You can connect to HubSpot. There are so many, Monday. So they do have that kind of integration for you to be able to connect to other third-party service providers that are going to basically help you to be able to control or monitor how your leads are progressing over time as to whether they're cold, they're warm, they're hot. So you're able to understand this based on the fact that you can integrate with other platforms that you are familiar with. Advanced enrichment. So save time by automatically enriching lead data with relevant information. So the enriching has to do with, for example, you find a lead and you want to be able to understand if that actual lead, the information or the data that you have regarding the lead is actually correct. You are able to enrich that. So there are instances where I've reached out to a customer that I, or a lead that I found in Apollo, and then they reach out and tell me, oh, I'm not using this email. We've changed our domain, so try to reach me on this. And then in so doing, I was able to actually connect with that lead or with that customer, and then basically proceeding with the sales process. So that is very good when it comes to the automated enrichment, where you're able to enrich the leads. The next would be lead scoring. So prioritize leads based on their likelihood to convert, optimizing sales efforts, which basically connects also with the enriching of the leads, because enriching the lead helps you to be able to understand that you have the right information for the customer. The lead scoring helps you to understand who is likely to convert based on data that is already in their system. So they understand, okay, so this person has been able to go into business with such and such people who have already been using this. So there is a likelihood that it will be best to convert, it's a best customer to convert. And in so doing, you're able to understand how you would be able to approach that person, because this person is more or less under categorizing them. You can say, for example, it's a warm lead, or if it's a cold lead, or if it's a hot lead. Now, let's move on to the disadvantages. Cost. Yes, Apollo can be quite expensive, especially for small businesses and startups, or startups with limited budget. So if you have a limited budget, it could be a bit expensive. But if you do have a dedicated person who is actually going to be utilizing it, or if you're going to be utilizing it yourself effectively, then I think you would want to spend that cost, because it's going to really help you when it comes to lead generation and then basically connecting with customers and closing deals. But the cost can be a disadvantage for small businesses or startups. Data accuracy, the risk of encountering outdated or inaccurate information leading to wasted time and resources. So that's with respect to the lead enriching. So basically, some of the information that you might have is outdated. Maybe the person is no longer with the company. Maybe the person is in a different position. So the domain has been changed or something like this. Some of the information can be outdated. So you would have to do some kind of due diligence. You would need to do some due diligence to be able to understand exactly if the information that you have is accurate or not. And that could be a disadvantage to some people. So, learning curve. The initial time investment required to familiarize with Apollo's features and interface, that can be very tedious, because it's a very big, or I would say vast system. So having to go over everything to familiarize yourself with the platform, to familiarize yourself with the features that it has, that can be a bit daunting for some people. So it does take a long time for you to be able to get acquainted with the software, what it can do for you. So I would advise, before you actually get started, the best would be to try to find a way to learn how it works. Spend some time, look for some articles, some videos that will help you to be able to understand the in and outs of Apollo, the features that it has, and how it's going to be beneficial to you. If you want, I do believe you can actually give them a call to understand certain features that will be specific to your needs. And that way they will be able to explain it to you and give you information on how it works. That way, when you actually start off, it's not going to be you're now starting to learn. It's like you have some fair knowledge about it. And then basically you start and work will be more of a practical thing that you've already gotten a lot of information on. So that could be a disadvantage as well. Dependency. So over-reliance on Apollo may limit creativity and personalized approaches to prospecting. This is one thing that a lot of people tend to fall short of. So I've had calls with people who are very familiar with Apollo, or they are familiar with something, another way of actually prospecting leads, maybe using LinkedIn or something, but they are over reliant on one kind of software or one system that they use for lead generation. So it's very important that you familiarize yourself with other lead generation softwares out there or lead generation platforms out there, and that way you don't rely solely on Apollo, because even though they have a vast number of contacts or leads that you will be able to reach, it's advisable to also use other lead generation systems to be able to help you to understand how you'll be able to prospect your leads accordingly. Because just focusing on one and using that and relying only on that, it's not going to be advisable. So, for example, there are places, for example, you can use Dripify, you can use Apollo, you can use lead generation with LinkedIn, you can use Snowview. There are so many other ones there. And it's advisable to familiarize yourself with most of them and not rely solely on just Apollo. Competition. So increased competition for the same leads among multiple companies using Apollo. So a lot of companies are using Apollo because it's one of the best. So taking into consideration that there are all these companies out there who are also trying to be able to connect with the leads that you want, you would find yourself in a position where you're you find yourself basically in a position where it becomes kind of hectic, in the sense that you would reach out to a customer who is already sold, and you have to now understand which level or which point in the sale do you want to make it very unique. So you need to make sure that your sales conversation and all that is very, very unique, which is something that is pretty hard to do. So it's kind of saturated with a lot of companies using the same system to find the leads that you already trying to find. So that can be a disadvantage using Apollo. That's the reason why it's very good that you actually try as much as possible to familiarize yourself with other lead generation softwares or systems out there. So what's the conclusion? So to maximize the benefits of using Apollo, utilize advanced search filters effectively, integrate Apollo with existing tools for streamlined processes, verify lead data accuracy regularly, balance automation with personalized outreach, and continuously monitor and adjust your strategy. And in so doing, you will find yourself in a position where you're going to be able to actually break through and be able to generate leads that you can actually lead into the sales and then eventually close deals with them. So that's going to be it for this video. If you like the video, smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel as well if this is the kind of content that you're looking for. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.